Joining me now is John Abel. He's the New York bureau chief for Wired.com, which has written extensively about social networking and the protests in Egypt. John, it also says in your title that you direct business and disruptive media coverage for Wired.
Right.
This appears to be disruptive media.
It's extremely disruptive, yes, but it's a good kind of disruption, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
people are using these tools in exactly the way they're meant to be used, the way they are organically being adopted in order to communicate, in order to organize, in order to get other people interested in stuff. It's exactly what they're for.
I mean, they used to refer to internet revolution as, as a business term. Turns out it's real. It's the internet revolution. I mean, look at this.
Literal this week.
Yeah, it's absolutely literal. Wael Ghonim works for Google.
Yes.
He starts a Facebook page that certainly partly begins this process. Now, he had two quotes I want to run by you. He said, quote, "If you want to liberate a country, give them the internet." And he said this revolution started on Facebook. How true is that?
Maybe slightly hyperbolic, although you have to give the man his due. He was in an Egyptian prison for 10 days and actually did have a page which had a lot to do with the origins of the public uprising. My view of these things are that these social networks, the internet in general, television, all of these things are sort of accelerants. The ability to share this information, to be seen by the world, especially to get the Western media's attention, is very, very important for any kind of thing. This is why you don't see anything happening in North Korea, for example, but you do see it in places where Al Jazeera English can operate and where, unless they turn off the electricity, people can use the internet. So these are very, very important things, and he's probably closer to right than he is exaggerating.
So I read earlier today that basically, as you said, Facebook was an accelerant and that they use it internally in Egypt, but that Twitter and YouTube they used to stoke interest in the revolution throughout the world. Is it break down like that?
Well, sort of. I mean, Facebook is kind of a closed network. You have your friends, and you have friends of friends, and things like that. Twitter is inherently open. So if I say something on Twitter, like the building is burning down here, and this is my location, it's seen by anybody who happens to be watching or looking at the hashtags that I'm using, not just your friends or friends. So in a sense, Facebook can be used especially well to organize and to put up fan pages and get people interested. But then when you're shouting or whispering and want to get attention, again, to get the Western media's attention, because this does drive the news cycle, Twitter is the place to go.
Right, and I heard the young protesters got together with Mohammed Al-Baradei, and they said, look, here's what Facebook says we're going to have. Yeah, and it's not Facebook saying it, obviously, it's them saying it on Facebook. Right. But that goes to my point. I'm not convinced they could have done it without those outlets, because for the first time, they're able to show, obviously in the case of Khalid Said, the pictures, and they pass it online to other people.
Right.
Like the people of Egypt knew there was torture, but they didn't see it.
Right.
That had to have made a difference.
It's very important. It makes it easier. But we have to remember there are other tools that have been around a long time that work really good too, like smartphones and being able to broadcast from anywhere with your iPhone or Android device, and the ability to share in that way. So these networks are very important, and they add a sort of a luster and an efficiency to things. But if you have a telephone, if you have a smartphone, if you have an internet connection, you can do a lot of things without social networks per se.
We talked about Al-Qaeda in the last segment. When you have a young revolutionary and he wants to be free of tyranny or whatever it is that he's crusading against, could be in any country, and Al-Qaeda comes and says to him, grab a bomb, and then others come and say, grab Facebook, it seems like Facebook is the better alternative, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Egypt is an interesting place. Iran, you were talking about the previous thing, an interesting place. You have a very educated, large group of young people who aspire to things. They aspire to make their country greater. They're generations removed from the elders that are running the place, and you have an entrenched. So these are not necessarily the best fodder for here's a bomb, because holding a bomb and letting it go off will make your life better. These are people that are actually way ahead of that curve.
Right. It's great points, John Abel. We really appreciate you joining us tonight.
My pleasure.